Alright, what's up, everybody? We're back with another edition of Everyday Hoops. Hope you guys are having a good one. Today we have episode 10 of season 2 of the Look In series, a series where I go through all 30 teams at the end of the season and recap the year, talk about the future, the state of the team, and all the stuff surrounding that. Today we're talking about the Houston Rockets in this one. Thank you guys for the views on the videos and the shorts recently. I really appreciate it. If you do like the content around here, consider subscribing, turn notifications, all stuff like that. I'd really appreciate it. Really upset a lot. Join the membership if you want to learn more about the membership. There's a video on my channel explaining all of it. You can go back and watch that. If you miss any other looking episodes, you can go back and watch those as well. It's on the channel. Link to my Twitter, TikTok, stuff like that in the description down below. And yeah, don't waste any more of your time. Let's get right into it. So the Houston Rockets this season, they finished 41-41, a 500 team, 11th in the Western Conference, and they were a lot better than I think everybody expected. The last 3 years, this is their best record since 2020, the first time making the playoffs since 2020. You look at the last 3 years of this Rockets team, and it's been bad. The last 3 years, they won 17 games in 2021, 20 games in 2022, and 22 games last season. They combined for about, 60, not even 60 wins in the last 3 seasons. They were kind of the laughing stock of the league a little bit. A lot of stuff going on. They basically were kind of just like an AAU team, just going out there and playing. There's no structure, no real direction. There's just a lot of not good. But this offseason, they made a lot of changes. They bring in Ime Udoka. After his situation that happened in Boston, they bring him in. They bring in some veterans, Fred VanVleet, Dylan Brooks, new coach, everything like that, new draft picks, and people were expecting the Rockets to be better, look like a better, more competitive team, but then again, not really super high expectations, and they blew those expectations out the water. I mean, the first month of the season, they were like a legitimate playoff team, you know? Like the first few months, it was like, wow, the Rockets are actually like a team we have to watch out for. Then it got to January, and the second half of the year was not as great the first half of the year until we got to March. And then in March, they went on an 11-game win streak, and they were competing with the Warriors for the play-in, but then they lost the last few games of the season. And they finished 41-41, a lot better than I think anybody was expecting this Rockets team to come in and play like this season. I think this year was gonna coming into the year, the expectations were like, all right, just look like a better team. You don't have to be competitive in the playoffs or anything like that. Just look like a competent NBA team with a direction. Just do that, and they did that and more. They actually look like a real competitive, more than competitive, like an actual good team, which is very, very surprising, and got a lot to credit to Ime Udoka for coming in, and he's got serious Coach of the Year kind of buzz around him. Even though he's not going to win the actual award, he definitely deserves a lot of votes because he brought this team from the depths of the league to, again, being a 500 team in just one season. It's really good. He's got players stepping up, and they're building a culture over there. But they had a lot of young players step up as well. Alperen Şengün had an amazing season, averaged 21, 9, and 5 on 53% shooting, 69% from the free throw line. Unfortunately, he did get hurt near the end of the year with that bad ankle injury. Luckily, it was only an ankle and not anything more. But he had some serious all-star buzz. Probably getting, well, he's not qualified, but if he was qualified, he probably would have got a lot of votes for most improved player as well. And he turned into the Rockets building block of the future. Like coming into the year, it was kind of like, all right, we have Jalen Green, Şengün, Jabari Smith. We have these young players, but who's really going to be the guy to build around? And I think this season, Alperen Şengün took that crown. He is the future of the Houston Rockets. He is the centerpiece of the future. The way he was balling this season, has some big games scoring wise. Of course, we know about his passing ability. His defense got even better. He just, again, looked like an all-star out there, and he's still only 21 years old. So Alperen Şengün has become the building block of the future for this Rockets team. And you have a lot of other good things. Jabari Smith Jr., who was a second overall pick, third overall pick 2 years ago. Had a not amazing rookie year, but at the end he kind of started to heat up. And this year he came in, even though he may not had a crazy statistical season, he's, I think, provided a lot. He averaged over 13.5 points, 8 rebounds, shot 45% from the field, 36% from three. He competes out there. He competes. He rebounds the ball very, very well. He's a big shot maker. He plays hard on both ends. I think he's going to be a really nice piece of this future as well. Cam Whitmore, who was honestly a top 5 pick that they got at number 20, the steal of the draft right there. He played in 47 games. He averaged 12 points per game on 45, 36, 68 shooting splits. Has some big performances. He's going to be a piece for the future. And then Thompson, their number 4 overall pick, even though he came on a little bit late, he was amazing, averaging 9.6 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, at 53% shooting. You look at when he became a starter at one point in the year where Fred VanVleet got injured, but once he became a regular in the rotation, he was having big games, you know. And it's 57 games once he became a regular in the rotation. He averaged 10.7 rebounds and 2 assists on 54% shooting. He had a lot of double-digit rebound games. He had a triple-double in the last game of the season. A lot of big steal, big block games. You know, had a couple 20-point games in there. When Şengün was injured, he became the starting four, basically, and he's going to be a big part of the future as well. He's just a winning player that does so many different things. Rebounding, defensively, he's there. The athleticism jumps off the page, you know, and now that he's got guys like Şengün and stuff that are going to give him the ball and get him, you know, in better looks, he's going to be a really nice part of his future. You even have Tari Eason, who was an all-rookie team member last year. Unfortunately, only played in 22 games this season due to injury, but he's another piece of this future. You know, a guy that's going to be a Swiss Army knife. He can shoot the ball. He's going to defend. He's going to rebound. He's going to get out in transition. He's going to do a lot of different things. You know, so you have a really nice young core with this team, and the vets have come in and played perfectly. Fred VanVleet had an amazing season. Say what you want about the money he got, you know, the $41 million, but he was amazing this year. He averaged 17 points, 8 assists, only 1 turnover, 41% shooting, 38% from three. He had some big games, especially at the end of the year when they went on their 11-game win streak. He was a big part of that. And, yeah, he was amazing. Dylan Brooks as well. Shot 36% from three. He averaged 12 points per game, was a really good defender as well. So those vets came in and done a great job. And this Rockets team looks really, really nice for the future. The future is really bright in Houston, where the last 2 years we were kind of worried about what this Rockets team is going to look like in the future. But this Rockets future looks amazing, you know. I think the only thing really that's in question, I think, is Jalen Green. Jalen Green, he has some good moments and some not great moments, you know. Overall in the year, he averaged 19 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. He shot 42, 33, 80 shooting splits. He was very kind of on and off. He had some good moments, had some bad moments. When Alperen Şengün went out with injury, you know, he went on a big stretch for a couple games where he just looked like the man. You know what I mean? He went on a 8-game stretch. He averaged almost 34 points and 8 rebounds and 52% shooting. You know, but then he ended off his season not so great. The last 9 games of the year, he averaged 16 points on 38% shooting and shot 27% from three. And that's what Jalen Green has been basically his entire career so far. You know, we know the talent he has and that he can be a scorer, you know, and do a lot of good things. It's just when can he put it all together and do it consistently? You know, we're in year 3 and he hasn't been able to do it over a full season stretch yet. He's still 21 years old, or just turned 22. He's still young, but it's like, where does he really fit in this Rockets future? You know, it's been a question that I've been thinking about, seeing how good the Rockets have been now, seeing how kind of up and down he's been. It's very interesting to see what is his future going to be like in Houston, you know, because you have Şengün has kind of become the centerpiece of the future. You have Jabari Smith Jr., you have Amen Thompson, who could become a 2. You know, you have Fred VanVleet and Dylan Brooks as your veteran players. You're going to have maybe another lottery pick coming in this year. So, and the team is building up. And Jalen Green, you know, the Rockets have been one of the best defenses in this league, which is why they kind of had the big uptick in wins, because they finished as the top 10 defense in the league. Jalen Green is not a defender. And if you're not a defender on this team, at least you got to be a guy that's going to get buckets. And Jalen Green has shown that he can do that, but can he do it consistently and efficiently? He hasn't shown that yet. He's had like 7-game, 8-game stretches, but he hasn't had a full season stretch or a full even like 20-game stretch or anything where he's shown that he can do it consistently. So thinking about what this Rockets future has looked like, I think there's a really realistic world that Jalen Green is not a part of this Rockets future. Now, am I saying trade him right now? No. He still has another year left. Well, he's going to be eligible for an extension this coming offseason. And then next year will be the last year of his team options before he hits restricted free agency in 2026. And thinking about that time, you know, Fred VanVleet's going to have a team option. Dylan Brooks is still going to be on the board for money. You know, Alperen Şengün also is going to be up for some money pretty soon. At that point, Amen Thompson, Jabari Smith Jr., they'll start being in there, you know, team option years, or they're going to have to pick up on that. Tari Eason as well, so is Cam Whitmore. They're going to have a lot of young players around that point that are going to be starting to warrant some money. And so I think a big question for the Rockets, maybe not this upcoming offseason, but for next year and the year after, is going to be how much do we believe in Jalen Green? Do we believe Jalen Green is a centerpiece of the future as well with Alperen Şengün and Jabari Smith? And do we think he can get better and he can show some consistency? Do we think he's a part of this team's future? So do we give him that money? Or maybe do we think, you know what? We like what we have for Şengün, Amen, Jabari, Cam Whitmore, Tari. We like what they bring. Jalen Green just doesn't really fit that right now. So we'll have to kind of trade him. I think that's very interesting. Again, I don't think they have to make the decision right now because Jalen Green is still 21 years old. They're still super, super young, and this is their first year of really being, competitive. So I think they still are going to have another year to kind of establish, to see what will happen for his future. But I think it's a question you got to really think about of like, is Jalen Green a part of the Rockets' future or not? But looking towards the offseason, they're going to have a first-round pick from the Brooklyn Nets this year with the James Harden trade that right now is projected at number 9, and it's unprotected as well. So wherever it ends up, that's the Houston Rockets pick. So it's the potential they're going to have a top 10 pick this year, which would be really nice. I think looking at some of their prospects they could get, I think a forward wouldn't be that bad. I think maybe a guy like Dalton Connect out of Tennessee, of another like a senior guy that's honestly crazy. He's gonna be older than most of their 3rd or 4th year players for the Rockets next season. Like if he comes in next year, he'll be older than Jalen Green, Alperen Şengün, and Jabari Smith, which is crazy. But he could come in, I think, and be a nice role. With Dillon Brooks getting a little bit older, maybe you could float the possibility of trading Dillon Brooks. You know what I mean? Matas Buzelis wouldn't be too bad. Maybe a guy like Jacoby Walter as a shooter. Maybe if you want to take a chance on a Kyle Filipowski or something like that, getting another backup center. Even though they did just trade for Steven Adams, who will be healthy next year, which I think is going to be a big piece for that team. So I think a forward would be nice for Houston. Looking at more draft picks, their own draft pick that they own right now is in Oklahoma City, and it's a top 4 protected pick. So most likely, unless that pick shoots up into the lottery, OKC is going to have their Rockets' own first-round pick. But the good thing is Rockets already have the Nets' first-round pick, so they don't have to worry about that too much. And they're also going to have a second-round pick via Golden State. That right now is projected at about 44, so you can maybe develop some more second-round talent. But another interesting thing about that draft pick that they have from Brooklyn is that maybe do they use it in a trade? There was some talks at the trade deadline that there was a discussion going on between them and the Nets, talking about maybe flipping Jalen Green for Mikal Bridges. I think that the Rockets have been a team talking about Mikal Bridges. Maybe the Rockets are going to bring in another, star type of player to kind of help mold with this Rockets team and bring them towards, being competitive and being back in the playoffs. I don't think that's out of the question for them to go out and make a big move. I don't think you need it, obviously, because you have so many young pieces, and next year you're going to have a nice piece in Steven Adams coming back. Tari Eason hopefully will be healthy next year, a full year of Cam Whitmore or Men Thompson. So I don't think you really need that, but it's not out of the question for them to think like that and take that top 10 pick that they have and say, you know what, instead of coming in and developing another rookie, why don't we take another young player we have or two, and let's flip it and go get a really nice player to put next to Şengün and them, and let's go for it next year. I don't think that's out of the question. And then looking at free agency, right now they don't have a lot of money. They're projected negative $17 million cap space. Looking at their free agents, their biggest free agent right now is Jeff Green, who will be on a team option. So is Jayshawn Tate, will be on a team option, but I don't think those are too big of like names where it's like, oh man, we need to bring him back. Like if Jeff Green does come back, that's cool, but if he doesn't, that's fine as well. So is Jayshawn Tate. And then after that, it's like Reggie Bullock, Boban Marjanovic, Aaron Holiday, guys that weren't kind of but not really in the rotation at some points during the season. So free agency, not really any money you need to tie up in those guys yet, but you got to save it for the next couple years when Jalen Green and Alperen Şengün and them are going to be up for their money pretty soon. So yeah, but I think the Rockets' future is really, really bright. Like, I really like this Rockets' future. Like, again, you have Alperen Şengün as your building block. Jabari Smith Jr. is still really, really young. You could take him and fit him next to Şengün. I think that that big man duo is going to be nice. Amen Thompson already shows flashes of being a winning player. A guy's going to contribute to winning for this team. Guy in Cam Whitmore, the guy's a steal that can serve as a bench piece that can score, but also maybe has some all-star-like potential. Tari Eason, another young guy that's shown that he can play winning basketball. another top 10 pick coming in this season, next season. You still have Jalen Green at 21, or maybe if he could develop a little bit better. Like, this Rockets future looks really, really good. Like, I'm really excited for this Rockets team in the future, man. Like, there's a really good chance they're going to be competitive next year as well. I don't see why they're not going to be competitive next year. If they win 41 games this year, who knows what happens next year? In a crazy Western Conference that's going to be shaping up to be, the Rockets are going to be right in there in terms of fighting for a play-in and a playoff spot. And it's just really, really exciting for the Rockets to go from what they have been the last 3 years to where they are right now. But yeah, it's going to be it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, if you enjoyed the content, consider subscribing, like, turn notifications, and all stuff like that. I'd really appreciate it. It really helps out a lot. If you missed any of the other Look In episodes, you can go back and watch those on the channel as well. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.